Hello and welcome. I'm Angela Meiritz-Reid from Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand, and today I wanted to share with you 6 cards that are pretty quick and easy to make. It's a simple design, it doesn't take hours, and it's using these beautiful little images from the Storybooks Moments specialty paper. I thought these would make great little baby cards. So I've designed a card around those. So I thought I'd start from scratch, go through it from the beginning, so you can see how quickly we can get some cards made. So what I'm starting with, so if you want to grab some things, pause this and grab what you need. I've got 3 sheets of the Lost Lagoon cardstock. I've already cut 2 of them ahead of time. I've got a sheet of this designer series paper from the Storybook Moments, and this sheet here, and of course the cutouts. I've got my Lost Lagoon stamp pad. I've got, this is the 8cm circle die. You could use the smaller punch if you had it, the 6cm one. I've got some little bits of white cardstock that are cut to 5.7 by 1.8. I've got some 6 pieces of linen thread that are 33 centimeters long. I've got this sentiment here, which is Celebrate, and that is from the Cake Celebrations. And I've got these embellishments, which are the antique pearls from the mini catalogue. So we'll go ahead and get started. So as I say, I've already cut 2 of those, so I just want to cut this last piece in half. And so for New Zealand in half is right up here, not quite at the 14.9, 14.85. So just pop that in there, and that's it in half. Pop those aside. I'll just fold one now quickly. Put it in half. So what I want the designer series paper is to cover the front, just leaving a little gap. So that is 10.5 by 14.85. So I just want it 5mm smaller. So I'm going to get this to DSP and take it in at its 14.35. So run that straight down and do the same here. So if you're doing this with inches, all you need to do is just make it slightly smaller than your card front, which your card front is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you could just take 1/4 of an inch off, and then so to make it 5 centimeters off, I just do 10 along there. 1, 2, 3. So you're just left with that tiny little strip at the end, and all I got at the bottom was that tiny little strip. So not a lot of wastage. In fact, that bottom strip you could pop on your inserts, and then do these other 3 here. That's the 3rd one. Yeah. Right. So we've got our 6 card fronts, and I'll just bring these back in and just fold them in half. You could, if you wanted, do a score line for folding. I find the paper, the cardstock bends really well this way, so it doesn't, it just creases really easily. And use my bone folder for a nice crisp edge. And the last one here. So you could put this up on dimensionals if you wanted, but I am going to put other elements on on dimensional, so this can just go flat. So I'll just use my glue. You can use whatever is your adhesive of choice. I don't go right to the edge because I find the glue spreads out, and it also gives you somewhere to pop your fingers. I'm just going to quickly get the glue on the back of these 6. And I'll pop them on all on together, or say, you know, one after the other. Just saves picking my glue up and down all the time. Because if we're going to be saving time, we want to be doing some things that do actually save time. So put that over, and that just sits. And I like the glue because I get a bit of wiggle room if I'm not quite certain that it's exactly where I want it. So you can see once you've kept going, it doesn't take long. And this is a design you could use with any of our lovely papers. Just mix and match. And last one here. On there, so I'll just pop those to one side, so they're out of the way. Now I've got this paper here, which is the back side of the one we've just used, and I want to cut out 6 of these, and I'll just check that I will get, so that's 8 centimeters. I don't know that I'll get one next door to it. I think it's fairly tight because I think it should be, it's just right on there. No, I'm not going to, so that's okay, but I will get them if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's hope I've worked that out correctly, so that I don't have to cut this bit down and I can jiggle it around as I go. I'll do it on my big die cutting machine. So I want to put everything as close as I can. Bring that in there, so I'm going to tuck that right up to the top corner. If it wasn't going to work, you could just use, I'm just going to, normally I wouldn't roll back, but just so that I can work from this side. So I've got one, then I'll put that as close as I can. You do have a little bit of leeway at the edge of these dies, some more than others. Second, you can always hear it click too when it comes off the edge of the die. So that's 2. These off now, so I don't need that. Oh, I think I'm easily going to get these in. It's always pays to be safe rather than sorry though, doesn't it? There's nothing worse than you get to the end and if you'd only been a fraction over, it would have worked. That's 3. Does get a little bit annoying. And as I was saying, you could use a punch if you wanted, but it is only 6 centimeters. But that still would give you the desired effect. Or if you alternatively have a square die, rectangle, anything, just something will work on the front of your card. So this is probably just pop that straight through, the job that takes the most time really, the die cutting. And last one, and if I tuck it right in here, then I've got a little bit left over I can use for maybe the inserts. And that's the last circle. Just pop that out of the way. Got those all done, which is good. Now, stamping the sentiment, what I've gone ahead, I'm going to bring my foam mat, is I've already cut them to size. Why I've done that is I find it easier to stamp, especially when it's, well, only when it's photopolymer really, easier to stamp straight onto there, and then instead of trying to fiddle-faddle around cutting around the sentiment. So I'm using this Celebrate, and so I just usually stand up so that I get a good view straight down. You can see where you're stamping. And you know, you can always turn it over if one doesn't quite turn out as you had hoped. And the last one here. Yep, and the cat's decided to join us. It's nice. Right, so that's done. So they can go to one side. Right, the next job I'm going to do is, to bring that back in, is that these are all going to go on dimensionals. So I'll just lay those all out ready to go. Just grab a sheet of dimensionals. Oops, got an extra bit hanging off it. So I think about 3. Just spread those sort of around. Sort of balanced, hopefully, ish. I mean, you could add plenty more if you like, but I think that should be okay. Let's take all the backs off that. So, and it's that batch job, you know, when you do things in batches, it's quicker than doing one at a time. And then this is these are going to go on the front of here. So I sort of, doesn't really matter about this design, but you'd want to, I like it sort of a bit at the top, towards the top, and then about there. But whatever suits your, what you like the look of. Oh, there was another one. I did think, looking at it, thinking, have I got enough? I didn't. Yeah, I mean, you could go to all the trouble of making that on the design even, but you might not get as many out as you'd like. Oh, sometimes it seems a shame to cover things up, doesn't it? Nobody will know. Right, and that's those done. Then the next thing I want to do is pop this on. And that kind of depends whether I've got, I think, whether my little creature or animal is facing to the right or to the left. So that's to the, so that one doesn't matter. That's facing that way, that's facing that way. So I think I'll do 3 to the right and 3 to the left. And then under each one I want to put a bow. So there are a few ways to tie bows. You can just do the normal loop, wind it round, pull it. I never there must be some secret to where you start your bow, but I can never get it in the right place. I'll try a bit. I try a bit more to the right, I try to the left, it just doesn't seem to work. But it doesn't really matter too much. So, and then you can trim it down. So that's, and I always pop it over my finger like that, just to pull it down, just to make sure I've got the loops about the same size. So that's one. Another way of doing it, these were taught for doing shoelaces actually, but do a loop, do another loop, and you can see they're roughly the same length, and then just tie those two loops in a knot, and you pull it out through there. And that's probably quite a good way of getting them even. And then you can do that same thing, pop them over your finger and then just check the length, and then you can just give a little bit of a tug to if you want to make them bigger, and then just do the same thing, check. And another way is how I would normally do it if I was doing a double or a triple bow, but go like that, do a loop, do another loop down here, and then turn that around the back, and then thread that tail up through that loop at the back if you can. I usually would make it longer if I was doing this. Get that to come through that loop, put your finger back in there, and then tie that tight, and then you've got, it's got a mind of its own this twine, your two loops. And that's quite a good way because you can faff around adjusting that quite easily to get your right length. So I've just got 3 more of those to do, so I'll just do the loops, I think, and tie them in a knot. Sometimes you can get it into submission by, you know, I pop a bit of glue down or something to make the loop stay in place on the card when I've got it on, if it won't stay in place. It's just one of those things that's sort of a bit of practice, really. There would have been one day when I would have never have done this on a video. But it doesn't matter if you see that I can't do it either, then it just makes you realise that it's not always that easy. We do get bit fingers and thumbs, don't we, sometimes, just and that's, then do that. And look, they don't necessarily have to be even, it's no, you know, it doesn't really matter. So I want, and then you can do different things with the tails too. You could have them hanging down here, you could have them up here, just lots of different options. So then glue dot, and I'm just going to use my tweezers, just pull that off. It's going to be about here, I think. Pop that on there, pop that on the glue dot. Do 3 on the right side. And it is, these bows are going to go under the sentiment, so there is a bit of room for manoeuvre under the sentiment too. That can often force it into submission. Right, that's 3 that way, so I'll do those ones first. So I want to pop the sentiment, and that's just going to go either side of there. So I'm just going to use a bit of dimensional, tuck that in there. It's just a little half bit and another little half bit there. Hopefully that will cover it. And then sort of get that quite, I usually go sort of like that to get straight and take it in that way a bit. There. That looks okay. And then I'm going to, this is for these ones here. So this one here, sort of sit that about there, I think. Could tuck her under. No, I like her sitting a little bit over. So I'll just put, just need to see what's going to be about there and about here. It's not all of her is going to need dimensionals, so I've got, so you just have to, it's enough to keep her steady. You could put them under, double ones under there, but you don't really, oh actually she's going to be on there. Not sure if her feet were going to make it. And then just tuck that, I think about there. That's it, done. So that's one. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same for these other two. Just pop that close to there. Do that straight. So it really is just repeating the process. And that's a good thing when you've got a design that you like and works. It's good to replicate it, because that's half the time it takes, doesn't it, is designing something. I think I want her about there, so some more. I thought these would make cute little baby cards. Cover the edge in there. The last one facing this one. And this doesn't have to be a baby card. That is going to tuck over there a bit. I might just lift that up. Hopefully haven't anticipate his tail. That's right, that can go more over that side. And tuck him on there. And the thing is, you don't have to put too many adhesives on, because they're not going to fall off. So that can go about there. I think that works. Just make sure I've got it straight. And if you want to, that does look like it's floating a bit. What I tend to do is, because it's 2 layers of dimensionals, I'm going to back off those. And then, tweezers are always good. Pop that on top of there. So I've got a double layer of dimensionals, and I'm just going to tuck that right down under there. So it just keeps that steady. So that's that done. I'll just chop some of these in half. Don't want to waste those. Then we've got these last 3 going the other way. So I'm going to put the bow on this side. So it's really just doing the opposite to what I did before. So 1. But if you didn't have, you can easily stamp an image and do the exact same thing. It doesn't have to be a die cut. It does make making cards so much quicker. You're already done. These are such cute little images. Let's take that on there. And the glue dots are good too, because you can sort of push that around to make it do what you want to do. And the last one on here. Then just check that I've got the room. I think that's now an important lesson. Tuck that. Oh yeah, that's another tail issue. Yep, that's going to work. So bring in, it might be a bit bigger. I just want some half bits just so they won't be seen. Tuck that. Straight, some dimensionals on the back of here. That's probably what I spend more time doing, is popping the dimensionals on and then just tucking that up there. This one here, so I might have to make that go down a bit further. Check where that's going to go. Oh, and he can tuck himself over there. And actually sometimes when I'm giving a card with a gift, I just pop the card on top of the present and don't bother putting it in an envelope, because especially if I've made one that coordinates with some paper, so it wouldn't matter if the tail is sticking out, because you can don't need to try and get it into an envelope. So I'll put some dimensionals on the back of him. Probably enough. Tuck that down a bit further if you want to have that out. Just whatever tickles your fancy, it doesn't really matter. And then the same with this. So lucky last. So they look cute because they just coordinate all the colours. Which makes life easy, doesn't it? If you're thinking about what colour goes with what, it's already done for you. You just know that any of the pages, well, most of them will go together. And some dimensionals on the back of here. Just do a couple of half ones, I think. Pop that. Might pop that a little bit up. Doesn't need to even be near that sentiment. And now it's just a matter of popping on these gorgeous little antique pearls, so real creamy colour. I'll just use this to just about out on this one. So I want to pop a big one, pop that down here, and sort of a medium size one, might take that one and pop that about here, and a small one, pop that on there. So that's one, and it doesn't matter, you can put them anywhere, just whatever works. This one I might do big one, medium one, and then a small one up over here. This one. They're just pretty and shiny, which I like, and that sort of looks good with that. Even though I've used white, it is quite creamy. You could use very vanilla on it. One here, doesn't really matter. You can use more if you like. Tuck I always like using 3, but 5 is good. On that circle up there. And last but not least, that one might just do the same thing. Makes life easy actually. Do that there. And that is 6 cards all ready and done, and I'm not sure, well, 30 minutes that's taken, so not too bad to get 6 cards. And as I say, you could use this layout for anything, and you know, no matter, in no time at all, you've got a whole collection of cards for every occasion. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll pop the links to all the products I've used below, and if you live in New Zealand and like to shop with me, that'd be fabulous. So have a great week, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Thanks, bye for now.